Hello, LinkedIn Live. Welcome back to Websummit Day 2 here in the morning in Vancouver. Just want to do a quick recap of our first day, really getting into the conference here at Websummit, the interviews that we had, the press conferences, and just the real mission statement for this podcast that we're doing, the CPA Intelligence and Ethics Show. It's really looking at where our profession is going and what it means that AI is moving in a certain direction. Now we have AI agents. And it was a really great day for that. And we're going to release these interviews on our podcast later on. But we had a fantastic interview with SongYee Yoon, who is just a titan in artificial intelligence, youngest graduate from South Korea out of MIT in neuroscience. She's been working in AI for over 20 years. Just a huge name. And we were able to sit down with her and talk to her about what she's seen. She's also an investor. She's started companies, she's been programming, and it was a really great interview. There's contrasts to this conversation around AI. You have Dr. Gary Marcus from NYU and really a skeptic, and you have individuals like SongYee who understands the downside risks with the advancement of AI and generative AI and AI agents, and large language models, but sees how this is valuable and where this might take us in terms of our ability to leverage this without necessarily facing some of the risks. And what she was really, I think, promoting in her ideas about this space is that there is an efficiency gain here. And I know that efficiency versus whether this will come for the knowledge economy and jobs is one thing, but she really was positive, much more positive than Dr. Gary Marcus. They're both alumni of MIT, and they actually sat on a panel together. She's much more positive about where this is going and the possibilities that are ahead. But both her and then Jack Newton, the founder of Clio, an AI company that works with lawyers and legal processes, who we'll interview today, they really see it as positive, but they also see it somewhat as inevitable, that we are moving in a direction where AI and AI agents and generative AI and other tools are going to be part of the knowledge economy, not just the economy as a whole. So part of this is just, you could be resistant to it. You could just say, I don't think this is great. There's hallucinations, there's problems. But both those individuals, Jack Newton, who we'll interview in depth, and SongYee, my feeling was that they are embracing this. And SongYee in particular was talking about how her artists, she right now is at NCSoft, a gaming company, and she's working with AI and their creators, their artists, on the visual production for a video game. And she talked about this concept of where the creative process is, where the artists for these video games set the landscape and the characters, and where AI is helping that process and making it faster for them to be more in the creative space. And that is, again, that partnership, that collaboration, that more positive view. Another example she talked about was how we used to use pixels and just back in the day of artists, just doing things by hand, very labor intensive. And now a lot of that is taken away, given to AI, and allows the artist to think more, be more creative, put their vision out there a little bit more clearly because of the time saved. And we talked about that line between, hey, is that something that is going to eventually take over the artist and the creator and take away their job? Or is it really augmenting and helping? And she was of the mind that this is helping. There is going to be some work taken away from the artist, but that vacuum, that space that's taken away from maybe repetitive labor-intensive tasks, replaced by the ability to think more. Jack Newton, the CEO, founder of Clio, based in Vancouver, also had this thought that, I think you mentioned 77% of legal services that are needed are not provided for just because of capacity and volume. And a lot of that is because lawyers are a lot of the times in the weeds of getting things done, whether it be creating the contract, the processes and procedures that are part of the legal process, which might be more labor intensive and manual, not as much critical thinking, potentially results in a lack of service for legal needs. And he was of the mind that Clio and other companies that are helping remove those tasks or repetitive tasks will allow lawyers maybe to provide more services, to do more things within their expertise and wisdom. Again, that's a debate. Dr. Gary Marcus is on the other side thinking, I don't know about this. I don't know if we should trust this for anything, and especially large language models and what that represents in generative AI and productivity. And this is where a lot of the conversation is. But I thought both of those points of view were interesting, and it was really great to talk to SongYee Yoon. You should look her up. Just an amazing person in terms of her accomplishments, and a really, really positive person. I was energized to talk to her. I want to thank her for that. We also talked to Corinne, who the CEO of Thinkific, an education company, and that was a conversation around education and AI and what that means going forward. As a CPA for the CPA Intelligence and Ethics Show, one of the things we'll focus on is how do professionals get educated now? We have the traditional ways, for example, a CPA going through a process to do an exam and then do their practice hours. But is that the road that we're going to continue on as more opportunities, more availability of data and information potentially allows different avenues for education and certification? This conversation we had with Karina, as well as just the platform that Thinkific offers. It was really great to talk to both Jack, and we're going to talk to Jack in more detail, and Corinne, because both those companies, Clio and Thinkific, are based in Vancouver, and they're homegrown products here that found a lot of success here in Vancouver. So it was a great day, a lot of energy. For this day, day two, we are going to interview Jack, the CEO of Clio, for a more in-depth look at Clio and what he thinks AI is doing in the legal space, which is going to be a lot of analogous to the CPA space for our show. We're also going to be speaking with Davin, who is the Chief Technology Officer for KPMG Tact. We talked to him last year at Collision. Just infectious energy and really positive and exciting to talk to him. We're going to see what's changed with AI 1 year later after we talked to him in Collision. And that's going to be a conversation I'm looking forward to. So lots going on. And Leonard, my camera audio person here to support me, will also be entering into press conferences and keynotes and the open stage. Again, a lot of this information we're going to accumulate for our podcast, the CPA Intelligence and Ethics Show. So stay tuned on Spotify and Apple for the release of the interviews and the content from this conference and Web Summit. And also, if you're looking to have those hours CPE, CPD certified, they'll be available on Thinkific as one of our platforms, and we'll show you how to do that later on when they're produced. But excited for day two, lots of energy here. We're actually on the floor where all the startups are, and those that are looking potentially for partners and capital. It's just a ton of stuff. We saw an AI-controlled baby stroller yesterday, if I remember correctly, that will, I guess, understand the baby and move to comfort the baby, to activate the baby. I mean, that was just a small booth. There's just so many different companies using not just generative AI, but machine learning, deep learning, but just ideas pouring through this that can really have an impact for a lot of people, hopefully more good than bad. But thanks for watching our LinkedIn Live update day two. We'll come back for our final day with our recap of today, tomorrow morning, afternoon, depending on East Coast, West Coast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.